What if the chains holding you back are not in the world, but in your own mind, and you hold the key to unlock them? True power is not controlling the world, but commanding yourself. This is the path to mastering that inner world, forging a mind that is an unbreakable fortress. 10 Stoic Strategies to Dominate Your Mind, compiled and published by Stoic Dominion. Lesson 1. Face discomfort with inner calm. Imagine a blacksmith forging a sword. He does not shield the metal from the fire. He plunges it directly into the searing heat. He does not protect it from the hammer. He strikes it with deliberate force. It is this willing exposure to intense pressure that transforms a lump of brittle iron into a blade of resilient, unbreakable steel. So many of us live our lives trying to avoid the fire. We construct elaborate comfort zones, seeking to shield ourselves from any hint of difficulty, awkwardness, or challenge. We mistake this avoidance for peace, but it is a fragile peace, easily shattered. The inner conflict we face is a deep-seated fear of discomfort, a primal urge to retreat to what is known and easy. This instinct, while designed to protect us, ultimately makes us weaker. We become like the unheated iron, brittle, untested, and prone to shattering at the first real impact of life's inevitable hardships. This avoidance shrinks our world and diminishes our spirit, leaving us trapped in a cage of our own making, afraid of the very pressures that are meant to strengthen us. The transformative solution is to learn to face discomfort with a core of inner calm. This is the practice of willingly and consciously stepping into situations that challenge you, not with tense resistance, but with a serene and observant mind. It is the art of turning toward the fire, not away from it. The core idea, rooted in Stoic wisdom, is that discomfort is the primary agent of growth. Just as muscles only grow when subjected to resistance, our character and mental fortitude only expand when we push against the boundaries of our comfort. By intentionally facing what we fear in small, controlled doses, we are performing a kind of psychological alchemy, transforming the poison of fear into the antidote of courage. This gentle exposure recalibrates our nervous system, teaching the mind that what it once perceived as a threat is, in fact, a manageable challenge. It doesn't eliminate the feeling of discomfort, but it changes our relationship to it, allowing us to act with purpose even while feeling it. To begin this practice, you must start with small, deliberate actions. First, identify one minor discomfort you typically avoid. This could be taking a cold shower for 30 seconds at the end of your normal shower, choosing to take the stairs instead of the elevator, or initiating a conversation with a stranger. The key is that it should be slightly challenging, but not overwhelming. Second, before you act, consciously relax your body. Take a deep breath and resolve to approach the discomfort with a sense of calm curiosity, not dread. Your goal is not to grit your teeth and endure, but to observe the sensations with a detached mind. Third, after you have completed the act, take a moment to acknowledge your own strength. Recognize that you faced the discomfort and you were unharmed. You are stronger for it. This positive reinforcement is crucial for building momentum. The benefits of this practice will begin to unfold immediately. You will notice a steady decrease in your baseline level of anxiety, as the things you once feared lose their power over you. Your confidence will grow, not from hollow self-talk, but from the undeniable proof of your own resilience. You will expand your capacity to handle life's larger, unavoidable difficulties with grace and composure because you have trained for them in the gymnasium of small discomforts. You become the blacksmith of your own soul, using the hammer and the flame of voluntary hardship to forge a character of immense strength and integrity. Your practice is to choose one small, voluntary discomfort to face within the next 24 hours. View it not as a trial, but as a training exercise. Your journey to inner dominion begins with this single, courageous step into the fire. Once we learn not to fear discomfort, we must turn our attention to the source of that fear, the untamed thoughts within our own minds. Mastering the world outside begins with mastering the world within. Next, we will explore how to control your thoughts before they control you. If this first strategy resonates with you, support our work by liking this video and subscribing to Stoic Dominion. Lesson 2. Control thoughts before they control you. Picture your mind as a vast fertile garden. If left untended, weeds will inevitably sprout. These weeds are the automatic negative thoughts, the anxious projections, and the self-critical judgments that grow in the darkness of an unexamined mind. At first, they are small and easily plucked, but if allowed to grow unchecked, their roots deepen, they multiply, and they begin to choke out the sunlight, killing the beautiful plants of peace, clarity, and confidence. So many of us live with an overgrown garden. We are caught in a relentless inner conflict, passively allowing these mental weeds to dictate our emotional state. We believe every negative thought that arises as if it were an undeniable truth. This creates a painful reality, where we are not living in the world as it is, but in a distorted version of it, filtered through a lens of fear and doubt. This lack of mental discipline is the root of immense suffering, making us prisoners of thought patterns we never consciously chose, our own minds becoming a hostile and untrustworthy territory. The transformative solution is to become the master gardener of your mind, learning to control your thoughts before they control you. This is the Stoic discipline of assent, the practice of becoming a vigilant gatekeeper who examines every thought that seeks entry and consciously decides whether to grant it passage or turn it away. The core idea is that you are not your thoughts. Thoughts are simply proposals, mental events that arise and pass away. They are like clouds drifting across the sky of your awareness. You are the sky, not the clouds. The power lies in realizing that you do not have to believe or identify with every thought that appears. You can observe them from a distance, recognize them for what they are, mere suggestions, and then choose which ones to engage with and which to let go. This gentle but firm practice creates a space between you and your thoughts, and in that space lies your freedom and your power to shape your own reality. To begin tending your mental garden, you must learn 3 actionable steps. First, practice labeling your thoughts. When a strong negative thought arises, such as, "I'm going to fail," mentally step back and label it. "I am having the thought that I am going to fail." This simple linguistic trick creates immediate separation. It reframes the thought from an objective fact into a subjective mental event. Second, question the thought's validity. Ask yourself, is this thought 100% true? Is it helpful? Is there a more rational, more empowering way to see this situation? This engages your rational mind and loosens the grip of the emotional thought. Third, practice mindful release. Visualize the negative thought as a leaf floating down a stream, and simply watch it drift away without judgment or resistance. The more you fight a thought, the stronger it becomes. The key is to let it go gently. As you consistently practice these steps, you will become the serene and powerful master of your inner world. The weeds of anxiety and self-doubt will appear less frequently and will have far less power over you when they do. You will cultivate a mind that is a source of strength and clarity, a well-tended garden that produces fruits of peace, focus, and resilience. This mental mastery will transform your experience of life, freeing you from the prison of reactive emotion and empowering you to face the world with a calm and confident spirit. Your practice now is to catch and label just one negative thought today. Don't fight it, don't judge it, simply notice it and label it as a thought. This is the first step in reclaiming your mental dominion. Controlling our thoughts is the first gate to mastery. But thoughts often come intertwined with powerful emotions. To achieve true dominion, we must learn to untangle them and see the world with perfect clarity. Next, we will learn how to separate raw emotion from objective truth. Your engagement helps this channel grow, so please leave a comment with your own experience in managing your thoughts. Lesson 3. Separate emotion from objective truth. Imagine looking at your reflection in a perfectly still lake. The image is clear, accurate, and true. You see yourself exactly as you are. Now, imagine a storm rolls in, and the surface of the lake is churned by violent waves. Your reflection becomes a distorted, monstrous caricature. It is fragmented, frightening, and completely untrue, yet it is all you can see. The still lake represents objective reality, the world of plain facts. The storm is our emotional reaction. Most of us live our lives staring into the stormy lake, believing the distorted reflection is reality. We experience an event, a disagreement, a mistake at work, a rejection, and immediately a storm of emotion like anger, shame, or fear churns the waters of our perception. We then react not to the event itself, but to the terrifying, distorted image created by our emotions. This inner conflict, the inability to distinguish between what happened and what we feel about what happened, is a primary source of poor decisions and unnecessary suffering. We act on flawed data, making choices based on the monstrous reflection rather than the simple truth. The solution is to become a master of perception, to learn the Stoic art of separating emotion from objective truth. This is the practice of stripping away the layers of subjective judgment, emotional coloring, and dramatic storytelling from an event, until all that is left is the bare, objective fact, the still lake. The core idea is that events themselves are neutral. They are neither good nor bad. It is our interpretation, our internal story about the event, that assigns it a value and triggers an emotional response. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught, it is not things that disturb us, but our judgments about things. By learning to pause and dissect our experience, we can consciously separate the thing from our judgment, which gives us the power to see the world with unshakable clarity and respond with reason instead of raw, reactive emotion. This skill is developed through a three-step mental process. The first step is to state the objective facts. When you are upset, force yourself to describe the situation as if you were a security camera recording the event. Use only neutral, factual language. For example, instead of, "My boss humiliated me in the meeting," the objective truth is, "During the meeting, my boss stated that my report contained 2 errors and asked me to correct them." This act of objective description immediately lowers the emotional temperature. The second step is to identify the story you are telling yourself about those facts. The story is, "He thinks I'm incompetent. Everyone thinks I'm a failure. This is a disaster." Recognize this as a separate creation of your mind, not inherent in the event itself. The third step is to challenge and reframe that story. Ask, is this story helping me? What is a more useful and rational interpretation? A better story might be, receiving feedback is an opportunity to improve my work and demonstrate my professionalism. By practicing this separation, you will achieve a level of clarity and composure that will feel like a superpower. You will stop being a victim of your own emotional storms and become a calm, objective observer. This will dramatically improve your decision-making, as you will be acting on clear facts rather than distorted feelings. Your relationships will improve, as you will stop overreacting to perceived slights and start responding to what is actually happening. You will cultivate a profound sense of inner peace, the peace of the still lake, knowing that while you cannot control the weather, you can always allow the waters of your mind to settle and reflect the truth. Your immediate practice is to take one recent, upsetting event from your life. Write down the objective facts on one side of a piece of paper and the emotional story you told yourself on the other. See the difference. That separation is your dominion. Once you can see the truth clearly, free from emotion, the next step is to master your response to that truth. True power isn't just in seeing, but in acting with intention. Coming up, we will explore how delaying your reaction can exponentially expand your inner power. To support our mission, please take a moment to like this video. Lesson 4. Delay reaction, expand inner power. Consider the immense power held within a drawn bowstring. An unskilled archer, anxious and impulsive, releases the arrow the moment he draws it back, his aim unsteady, his shot erratic. But a master archer understands that the true power is cultivated in the pause. In that moment of full tension, held in perfect stillness, he confirms his target, steadies his breath, and refines his intention. The delay is not a sign of hesitation, it is a moment of focused command. The longer he can hold that tension with calm control, the more precise and powerful his eventual release will be. Our daily lives are a series of drawn bowstrings. We are constantly presented with stimuli, an insulting email, a frustrating setback, an unexpected demand that pull our emotional strings taut. The common, untrained impulse is to react instantly, to fire off a response in the heat of the moment, just like the unskilled archer. This inner conflict between the stimulus and our immediate, raw impulse leads to a life of regret. We say things we don't mean, make decisions we later lament, and escalate conflicts unnecessarily, all because we fail to harness the incredible power of the pause. The transformative strategy is to learn to delay your reaction and intentionally create a space between stimulus and response. This is the training ground where you expand your inner power. The core principle, central to Stoic practice, is the understanding that in that space, in that brief moment before you act, lies your freedom to choose. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor who drew upon Stoic principles, famously stated, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." By consciously widening this space, you move from being a reactive creature of instinct to a proactive being of reason and intention. You take back the control that was given away by your automatic impulses. This delay is not about suppression, it is about deliberation. It allows the initial hot wave of emotion to pass, so that your response can come from the cooler, wiser, and more powerful part of your mind. You can cultivate this power through deliberate practice. The first actionable step is to adopt a simple rule: the 2-second pause. For any stimulus that triggers an emotional charge, commit to waiting just 2 seconds before you speak or type. Breathe in, breathe out. This tiny delay is often enough to break the circuit of pure reaction. The second step is to use a physical anchor during this pause. Clench your fist, press your feet firmly into the floor, or touch your thumb to your forefinger. This physical sensation grounds you in the present moment and pulls your focus away from the emotional storm. The third step, for more significant situations, is to defer your response entirely. Learn to use powerful phrases like, "Let me think about that and get back to you," or "I need a moment to process this." This gives you minutes, hours, or even a day to access your rational mind and formulate a response that aligns with your highest self. The benefits of mastering the delay are profound and life-altering. You will virtually eliminate actions and words born of impulsive anger or fear, preserving your relationships and your integrity. You will earn a reputation as a person who is thoughtful, level-headed, and wise, someone who can be trusted in a crisis. Most importantly, you will experience a massive shift in your sense of personal power. You will no longer feel like a puppet whose strings are being pulled by external events. You will feel the quiet, solid confidence of the master archer, knowing that you are in full command of your own release. You are the one who decides when and how to act. Your practice today is to apply the 2-second pause to one interaction. Whether it's in response to a question, an email, or a comment, give yourself that small space of power before you respond and notice the difference it makes. Delaying our reaction gives us control in the moment, but to build long-term resilience, we must go further. We must actively seek out challenges to temper our spirit. Next, we will explore the counterintuitive but powerful strategy of practicing voluntary hardship with purpose. Please subscribe to Stoic Dominion to continue this journey of building an unconquerable mind. Lesson 5. Practice voluntary hardship with purpose. Imagine two ships preparing to face a treacherous sea. The first ship has spent its entire existence in a calm, protected harbor. Its timbers are untested, its sails have never faced a gale, and its captain knows nothing of navigating rough waters. The second ship, however, has been intentionally taken out into choppy seas on clear days by its wise captain. It has practiced maneuvering in high winds and has tested the strength of its hull against manageable waves. When the real, unavoidable hurricane comes, which ship is more likely to survive? The first ship is a metaphor for a life lived in the pursuit of constant comfort. It is a life spent in the safe harbor, avoiding all forms of hardship. This inner conflict, the desire for ease versus the necessity of strength, defines the modern human condition. We seek comfort at all costs, believing it is the path to happiness, but in doing so, we render ourselves fragile and unprepared. When the inevitable storms of life, illness, loss, failure, do arrive, We are overwhelmed and broken because we have never built the capacity to endure. The solution is the Stoic practice of voluntary hardship. This is the deliberate, purposeful act of stepping out of your comfort zone and embracing small, controlled doses of difficulty. This is not about self-punishment or masochism. It is a calculated training strategy, like the wise captain taking his ship out for drills. The core idea is that resilience, like a muscle, is built only through resistance. You cannot develop courage without facing fear. You cannot develop temperance without resisting desire. By voluntarily choosing to endure minor hardships, you are vaccinating your mind and spirit against the far greater, involuntary hardships that life will eventually send your way. You are teaching yourself, on a deep, experiential level, that you can withstand more than you think. You are expanding your capacity for endurance and building a robust confidence that is forged in the fire of experience, not just positive thinking. To implement this strategy, you must choose your hardships wisely. First, practice physical resilience. This can be as simple as taking cold showers, sleeping on the floor for a night, or fasting for a short period. These acts teach you that your body is tougher than your mind gives it credit for, and that comfort is a preference, not a necessity. Second, practice material resilience. As Seneca did, set aside a few days to practice poverty. Live on the bare minimum, eating simple food and forgoing all luxuries. This exercise dramatically reduces your fear of financial loss and cultivates a deep gratitude for what you normally have. Third, practice mental resilience. Intentionally choose the more difficult path in a small task. Forgo the convenient shortcut, complete a project without caffeine, or read a challenging book instead of scrolling through social media. This strengthens your willpower and focus. The transformations that come from this practice are profound. Your fear of the unknown will shrink because you will have proven to yourself that you can adapt and endure. Your appreciation for your daily comforts will sky explode, curing the disease of taking things for granted. You will develop a quiet, unshakable confidence, the confidence of the storm-tested captain who trusts his ship and his skill because both have been proven in rough waters. You are no longer afraid of the storm, because in a controlled way, you have become the storm. Your practice is to choose one small voluntary hardship to undertake this week. It could be for an hour or a day. Embrace it not as a punishment, but as a privilege, the privilege of building an unbreakable soul. Building resilience through hardship prepares us for life's storms. But to navigate them effectively, we also need a flawless compass. This requires a mind that can hold its focus. Up next, we'll delve into how to train your focus through the power of present moment awareness. Like this video if you're committed to becoming stronger. Lesson 6. Train focus through present awareness. Imagine a lighthouse keeper on a stormy night. The waves crash against his tower, the winds howl, but his entire world, his entire responsibility is reduced to one single powerful task: keeping the light focused and steady. He does not worry about the waves that have already passed, nor does he fret about the waves that are yet to come. His power, his purpose, is fully concentrated in the beam of light that cuts through the present darkness, guiding ships safely to harbor. This lighthouse keeper is the ideal state of the focused mind. Yet for most of us, our minds are the complete opposite. We are like a broken lamp, our attention fractured and scattered in 1,000 different directions at once. We are physically in one place, but our mind is elsewhere, ruminating on past mistakes, anxiously rehearsing future conversations, or distracted by the digital ping of a notification. This inner conflict between our desire to be effective and our inability to concentrate is a defining struggle of modern life. This fractured focus leaves us feeling perpetually behind, inefficient, and disconnected from our own lives, unable to give our full power to any single task. The transformative solution is to train your focus through the disciplined practice of present awareness. This is the conscious act of gathering your scattered attention and directing it, like the lighthouse beam, onto the single point of the present moment. The core principle, central to nearly all contemplative traditions, including Stoicism, is that the present moment is the only place where you truly exist, and the only place from which you can exercise your power. The past is a memory, and the future is a concept. Your life is a succession of nows. A lack of focus is therefore a lack of life. By training your mind to return again and again to the present, you are not just improving your concentration, you are learning to fully inhabit your own existence. This practice quiets the noisy chaos of the anxious mind and cultivates a state of deep, calm focus that the Stoics called prosoche. This training, like any physical exercise, requires consistency. First, schedule focus sessions. Set a timer for a short period, perhaps just 15 minutes, and dedicate that time to a single task without any interruptions. No phone, no extra tabs, no distractions. When your mind wanders, as it inevitably will, gently and without judgment, guide it back to the task at hand. Second, practice mindful observation. Take a mundane daily activity like washing dishes or walking and turn it into a focus exercise. Pay complete attention to the physical sensations, the feel of the warm water on your hands, the sound of your feet on the pavement. This trains your mind to find engagement in the ordinary. Third, use a focus anchor. This can be your breath. Whenever you feel your mind becoming scattered, simply bring your attention back to the physical sensation of your breath entering and leaving your body. Your breath is always with you, a constant anchor to the present moment. The benefits of a focused mind are life-changing. You will become dramatically more effective and efficient in your work, producing higher quality results in less time. Your stress and anxiety levels will plummet, as most anxiety is rooted in worrying about a future that does not yet exist. You will find a new richness and depth in your experiences and relationships, as you will be fully present to enjoy them. You will become the lighthouse keeper, a beacon of calm, steady power in a world of distraction. Your mind will no longer be your enemy, but your most powerful and reliable tool. Your practice begins now. Close your eyes for just 30 seconds and focus entirely on the sensation of your breath. When a thought arises, simply notice it and return your focus to your breath. This is the fundamental exercise of training your mind. A focused mind is a powerful tool, but its true strength is revealed when it is tested. Life will not always be calm. It will present us with obstacles. Next, we explore the Stoic strategy of embracing those obstacles as a core part of our mental training. Share this video with someone who you think needs to hear this message. Lesson 7. Embrace obstacles as mental training. Picture a river flowing towards the sea. Its path is not a straight line. It encounters massive boulders, sharp turns, and steep drops. The river does not see a boulder as a dead end. It simply flows around it, over it, or through it, its power carving the stone over time. The obstacle does not stop the river. It changes its course and in doing so adds to its character and strength. The boulder becomes part of the river's journey. We too are on a journey, and our path is inevitably littered with obstacles. Difficult projects, challenging people, unexpected setbacks, and personal failures. The typical human reaction is to see these obstacles as problems, as unjust interruptions to our preferred path. This creates an inner conflict where we are at war with reality, complaining about the boulder, wishing it wasn't there, and wasting immense energy in frustration and despair. This mindset makes us victims of our circumstances, believing that our progress is blocked, when in fact we are simply being presented with a new path. The transformative Stoic strategy is to learn to embrace obstacles as a form of bespoke mental training. This is the profound shift in perspective captured in the modern phrase, "the obstacle is the way." The core idea, most famously articulated by Marcus Aurelius, is that whatever stands in our way can be incorporated into our path. The obstacle is not something to be avoided or merely tolerated. It is the raw material from which we forge our virtue and strength. A difficult person is not an annoyance. They are a perfect opportunity to practice patience and compassion. A sudden failure is not a catastrophe. It is an invaluable lesson in humility and resilience. A frightening challenge is not a threat. It is a chance to summon your courage. The obstacle itself becomes the training ground, perfectly designed to test and develop the very qualities we need to grow. To adopt this mindset, you must reframe your relationship with difficulty. The first step, when faced with an obstacle, is to pause and resist the urge to complain or despair. Take a breath and calmly accept the reality of the situation. This is what is in front of me now. The second step is to ask a different kind of question. Instead of, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What virtues can I practice in this situation? How can I use this to become stronger, wiser, or more patient?" This question shifts you from a victim mindset to a proactive, strategic mindset. The third step is to take one small, virtuous action. You don't need to solve the whole problem at once. Simply focus on responding to the immediate situation with the virtue you have chosen to practice. This could be responding to an angry email with a calm and rational reply, or breaking down a failed project to analyze the lessons learned. By consistently applying this mental framework, you will become an alchemist of the soul, with the power to turn any negative situation into a positive catalyst for growth. You will stop fearing challenges and may even begin to welcome them as opportunities to test your skills. Your resilience will become boundless, because your source of strength will no longer depend on having a clear path, but on your ability to navigate any path. You become like the river, relentless and adaptable, using every obstacle to carve a deeper and more powerful channel for your life. Your practice is to think of one obstacle currently in your life. Instead of focusing on your frustration, ask yourself, what specific virtue is this obstacle inviting me to practice? Then, take one small action that reflects that virtue. Embracing obstacles builds resilience against the world. But some of the greatest obstacles we face are internal, the stories we tell ourselves. To achieve true dominion, we must master our inner dialogue. Next, we will learn how to master self-talk with rational thought. Subscribe now so you don't miss this crucial step in forging an unconquerable mind. Lesson 8. Master self-talk with rational thought. Imagine you have a personal advisor who follows you everywhere, whispering in your ear 24 hours a day. Now imagine that this advisor is often panicked, irrational, overly critical, and prone to dramatic exaggeration. He tells you that a minor mistake is a catastrophe, that a potential difficulty is a certain disaster, and that you are not good enough. How effective, peaceful, or confident would your life be under such guidance? For most people, this is not a hypothetical scenario. It is a daily reality. The inner conflict we all face is that this irrational and often hostile advisor is our own inner voice, our self-talk. We are constantly narrating our lives to ourselves, but our narration is often deeply flawed, colored by cognitive biases, insecurities, and unexamined beliefs. This constant stream of negative self-talk erodes our confidence, fuels our anxiety, and becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. We believe the voice, and so we act in ways that make its negative predictions come true. We live under the tyranny of a terrible advisor we never chose to hire. The path to liberation is to master your self-talk through the application of rational thought. This means you must fire your current advisor and rehire for the position, promoting your own rational, logical mind, your inner Stoic, to the job. The core idea is that your self-talk is not an immutable feature of your personality. It is a habit, and like any habit, it can be observed, challenged, and changed. You must treat your inner monologue not as a source of truth, but as a series of hypotheses to be tested against reason and evidence. This practice involves applying the Socratic method to your own mind, questioning the validity of your automatic thoughts, and consciously replacing them with more balanced, objective, and constructive narratives. You are taking conscious control of the story you tell yourself about your life. The process of mastering self-talk is a form of cognitive training. The first step is to simply become aware of your inner voice. For one day, try to pay attention to the tone and content of your self-talk without judgment. Just listen, as if you were listening to someone else speak. You might be shocked at how critical and irrational it often is. The second step is to dispute your negative thoughts. When you catch your inner advisor in a negative or irrational rant, stop and challenge it directly. Ask, where is the evidence for this thought? Is this 100% true? What is a more objective way of looking at this? This is like cross-examining a witness in court. The third step is to consciously craft a rational replacement. This is not about empty positive affirmations, but about creating a statement that is balanced and true. For example, if your inner voice says, "I'm terrible at this," a rational replacement would be, "This is challenging and I am still learning. I will improve with practice." As you become a skilled manager of your inner dialogue, your entire emotional landscape will change. You will break the cycle of anxiety and self-sabotage that is fueled by negative thinking. Your self-confidence will become authentic and robust because it will be based on a rational assessment of your abilities, not the whims of an insecure inner critic. You will approach challenges with a calm and strategic mindset, guided by an inner advisor who is your ally, not your enemy. This is a fundamental step in building your inner dominion, as you are taking control of the very voice that shapes your perception of reality. Your practice is to identify one recurring negative thought you have about yourself. Write it down. Then, write down a more rational, balanced, and compassionate statement to replace it with. Repeat the new statement to yourself whenever the old one arises. Once your inner world is governed by reason, you become less dependent on the outer world for validation. This leads us to one of the most liberating strategies of all. Next, we will explore the art of detaching from both praise and criticism, finding your stability entirely within. Your support helps us spread this philosophy. Please take a second to like this video. Lesson 9. Detach from praise and criticism. Imagine a skilled ship's captain navigating the ocean. His focus is on his instruments, his charts, and the feel of the ship beneath him. He is guided by his own expertise and his ultimate destination. On the shore, a crowd has gathered. Some are cheering for him, shouting praise and encouragement. Others are jeering, yelling insults, and predicting his doom. If the captain were to constantly adjust his course based on the cheers or lose his nerve because of the jeers, he would surely wreck his ship. His survival and success depend on his ability to listen to his own instruments and ignore the noise from the shore. This is the inner conflict we face every day. We are navigating the sea of life, but we are constantly attuned to the shoreline of public opinion. We are elated by praise and crushed by criticism, our emotional state rising and falling with the fickle tide of others' judgments. This makes our self-worth dangerously externalized. We hand over control of our happiness to the crowd, becoming dependent on their applause and vulnerable to their scorn. This is a fragile and exhausting way to live. The Stoic strategy for a peaceful and self-directed life is to learn to detach from both praise and criticism. This is the practice of anchoring your sense of self-worth so deeply within your own character and principles that the words of others become irrelevant noise. The core idea is rooted in the Stoic understanding of what is truly good. The only good, they argued, is virtue, acting with wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. The only bad is vice. Everything else, including reputation, praise, and the opinions of others, is an indifferent. This doesn't mean you can't be pleased by a kind word, but it means your fundamental sense of worth isn't affected by it. Your value is determined by your own actions and intentions, which you control, not by the perceptions of others, which you do not. This mindset cultivates an unbreakable inner stability, the stability of the captain who trusts his own compass above all else. To cultivate this detachment, you must reorient your value system. The first step is to have a clear internal scorecard. This comes from the unshakable purpose we discussed earlier. You must know what you stand for. When you act in alignment with your principles, you have succeeded, regardless of what anyone else says. Your self-evaluation becomes more important than any external evaluation. The second step, when you receive praise, is to accept it gracefully, but without internalizing it as a measure of your worth. Treat it like a pleasant but unexpected gift. Acknowledge it, and then return your focus to the work itself. The third step, when you receive criticism, is to apply a rational filter. Ask yourself objectively, is there any truth here that I can use to improve? If yes, be grateful for the feedback and use it. If no, dismiss it as you would any other incorrect piece of information, without any emotional attachment. It is simply a false report from the shoreline. The benefit of this practice is true freedom. You will be liberated from the exhausting emotional roller coaster of seeking approval and fearing disapproval. Your actions will become more authentic and courageous, as you will no longer be held back by the fear of what others might think or say. You will develop a profound and solid sense of self-esteem, one that cannot be given to you or taken away by anyone. You become the sole judge of your own character, the captain of your own ship. Your practice is this: the next time you receive either praise or criticism, make a conscious effort to simply observe it as external information. Do not let it define your emotional state for the rest of the day. Acknowledge it, filter it for usefulness, and then return your focus to your own compass. All of these strategies, facing discomfort, controlling thoughts, detaching from opinion, are the building blocks of a much larger structure. They are the daily actions that construct our final goal. In our final lesson, we will explore how to put it all together to build true inner dominion through unwavering discipline. Please subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the capstone of this entire philosophy. Lesson 10. Build inner dominion through discipline. Imagine an architect who dreams of building a magnificent cathedral. He has the grand vision, the detailed blueprints, and the perfect location. But the vision remains a dream, a fantasy in his mind, until he embraces the daily work. The cathedral is not built in a single glorious act of creation. It is built one stone at a time, day after day, week after week, through the relentless, unglamorous, and unwavering application of discipline. Each perfectly laid stone seems insignificant on its own, but together they rise to create a structure of breathtaking beauty and enduring strength. This is the final and most crucial inner conflict we must resolve: the gap between our intentions and our actions. We all have a vision of the better person we want to be: more confident, more peaceful, more resilient. But this vision often remains a frustrating dream because we lack the one tool that can turn it into reality: discipline. We wait for motivation to strike, believing that change should feel easy or exciting. But motivation is a fleeting emotion. Discipline is a commitment, a quiet fire that burns steadily even when inspiration runs cold. The ultimate Stoic strategy, the one that integrates all others, is to build your inner dominion through the conscious and consistent practice of discipline. Discipline is the master key. It is the bridge between your philosophical understanding and your lived experience. The core idea is that self-mastery is not a destination you arrive at, but a process you engage in every single day. It is the sum of your daily habits, your small choices, and your commitment to showing up, even when you don't feel like it. The Stoics understood that greatness of character is an accumulation of small, virtuous acts. Just as the cathedral is built from individual stones, your inner fortress of peace and resilience is built from individual moments of disciplined choice. This is the final alchemy, turning the abstract principles we've discussed into the concrete reality of your character. Building this life of discipline requires a structured approach. The first and most essential step is to create a routine. Your mind thrives on structure. A simple morning or evening routine where you incorporate practices like journaling, meditation, or voluntary hardship automates your discipline and removes the need for constant decision-making. The second step is to practice accountability. The Stoics did this through their evening journaling, reviewing their day against their principles. You can do the same. At the end of each day, ask yourself, where did I act with discipline today? Where did my discipline fail me? What can I do better tomorrow? This is not about guilt, but about continuous improvement. The third step is to embrace the idea of one day at a time. Don't be overwhelmed by the thought of being disciplined for the rest of your life. Your only task is to win this single day. Focus all your energy on laying today's stone perfectly. By embracing discipline as your guiding principle, you will achieve the ultimate transformation. You will close the painful gap between the person you are and the person you aspire to be. You will build a character of such integrity and strength that it becomes your unshakable foundation in a chaotic world. You are no longer just dreaming of the cathedral. You are the master builder, laying the stones every day with purpose and pride. This is the meaning of inner dominion. It is the quiet, profound satisfaction that comes from being the architect of your own soul, the master of your own mind. Your practice is not a small task, but a lifelong commitment. Resolve today that you will no longer wait for motivation. Choose one disciplined action from these lessons and make a commitment to practice it tomorrow, regardless of how you feel. That choice is the first stone of your cathedral. These 10 strategies are not just mental tricks. They are the training exercises for the soul, the disciplined steps required to build a mind that is not a prison of fear, but a fortress of unbreakable peace and power. Thank you for dedicating your time to this journey of self-mastery. The path of the Stoic is one of constant practice, and your commitment to watching this video is a powerful first step. If this wisdom has served you, please like, comment with the strategy that resonated most, and subscribe to Stoic Dominion for more guidance on building an unconquerable life.